So
and I'm clothed.
okay.
Oh,
Can you? And we're live. So can you just check that we're clean over here?
yes,
You,
it's relatively clean.
fold up that. I would appreciate it.
Hold up one.
Fold up the. Yeah. Hello.
I'm actually going to put it on.
Oh, excuse me. I figured you were gonna want to be able to grab knives and stuff.
I can.
Okay. Hello there, Brian. Okay. How's my audio coming in? I'm kind of new to this, so.
So, what's the theme of our live today? Full difference. Okay.
It's kind of cool. It's got a little delay.
Yeah.
You have the live caption on.
Okay.
Hello there. Hi, Thomas. Ryan and Robert. How are y'all doing this nice day? Yeah, they like your shirt. In case you don't know, I'm Fred.
And I'm Hayden. And the camera doesn't like me, apparently.
I can change the AI settings to see whether or not it'll track you better. Nope. It don't like you.
You really don't. No worries.
I can zoom out a little. No, I can't. Hello, hello. How are y'all doing today? We are doing great. Hayden has a little pet on his lap.
I do indeed. Use the view thing on the right.
Yes.
Well, that's because you click the AI tracking again. Click the AI tracking. Now use.
There we go. All right, now you guys can see us. Yeah. What is your name, D. Conge Blades? I've been wanting to ask you that for a while, but it's hard to physically ask. Are you David, Don, Derek? Dom. See, it was my second choice. Excellent. All right, I'll remember that. So I don't know. I figured we'd get a few people on before we jump into what's going on here and what we wanted to talk about. It looks like we have 11 people on so far, which is nice for just a
2 minutes in.
Impromptu, unscripted, unscheduled. Yeah. So we had a nice day today. Hello, Jason.
Discuss, open parentheses, argue.
You like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do have different perspectives on this.
Yeah. So today we met up with Ray from Everyday City Carry and showed him a few knives that we had, and we just chit-chatted. He handed us back some knives that he had of ours, and we gave him another set of 6 custom knives. He's local, so it's pretty okay to hand him knives. I trust the people here. I don't trust the mail. So I really have tried not to mail custom knives around. But that may change. So our topic today, or what we wanted to talk about today, is kind of like what constitutes a custom knife. And there are many approaches to it, and Hayden and I kind of have some different opinions, but we also have some similar opinions. So I put 4 knives on the table that I think are of the 4 different categories that we are trying to show. Okay. So This one right here is a prototype. So, but I'm still going to call it production. Okay. This is a Katuo designed by one of our own, Sever 7. It's a prototype of the upcoming knife called the, do you remember? Usurper. Yeah. Okay. And it's great. It's excellent.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Okay.
And the final version will have some changes, but we're not at liberty to discuss the specifics.
Okay. And it's really good.
It's really good.
It's really good. It has a wonderful, wonderful blade shape, beautiful construction, some interesting hardware. See, there's no hardware on the actual outside other than the pivot.
The hidden hardware is accomplished in a very elegant way. I have personally not seen this exact hidden hardware design before. Okay. I love the milling. Dragon scale milling is something that is much beloved in the CNC custom world, and also in the Mac world, and getting some dragon scales that are relatively low sophistication, low complexity, and most importantly, low cost is going to make this knife a winner.
Okay, then we're going to go to this one. So this is a knife made by.
You couldn't just fucking do it in order?
No. There's a madness to my method and a method to my madness. So this is a full handmade custom by Zach Perlow with a small bit of help from me. Okay. And what I was able to do is bring the billets of material to him, discuss with him the actual design based on his design of the knife, how I wanted the blade, how I wanted the accents, and how I wanted it to look. And it was fully made. Okay.
I did a bunch of the work as well by hand for this. I lapped things, surface ground things, and milled, and
okay. Then the second knife here is what's called a CNC custom. So this is a wonderful knife made by Dylan over at Hypercut. Okay. It's called the Biku. And it is a custom knife. And it is made in a CNC machine. And so he has it all programmed in, and it cuts out all the parts, and he makes them one at a time with the parts cut out, and he does a beautiful job. Okay?
Now, there is an enormous amount of individuality and hand finishing to some of these knives. He makes a number of them look relatively similar, such that he can make a few of them in batches, but for the most part, they end up being entirely one-offs. Now, there's a number of makers who are CNC makers all the time who are now differentiating in their nomenclature between their one-offs and their batches. For instance, Matthew Weir Knives makes his one-offs, and then he makes his SB, small batch, which are batches of 5 to 10 to 20, something in that range, that are cheaper because they're identical between them.
Okay. Then we have this one. So this is a American Mac Mini Ultimatum.
MAC stands for Machine Assisted Custom. And in this case, the machine that's assisting it is Jim Vandeveld over at HMC. Jim machines the base parts, and then Kurt finishes each of them by hand. Typically, these are treated like the CNC maker's SB, small batch models, where they are largely identical, barring a few either imperfections or intentional variations between the individual ones. But by machining out the base parts beforehand finishing, they can also reduce the price.
So let's change our screen real quick. All right. So that was a representation of the 4 different categories that we're thinking about. Okay. So no one thinks of the production as a custom. Okay. Because the idea of it being production is that they're making hundreds, if not thousands, depending on what model. in a factory with multiple workers, of which most of them are not knife makers as much as people who run machines.
Yeah.
Okay. They're not thinking of how they make the knives. They're just for not being rude to them, but they're basically just cogs in the wheel of the machine doing its work.
Furthermore, oftentimes these machinists are not doing any of the design work themselves either. They're not putting in any of their intellectual property or process into developing these knives. We've actually been to a couple of factories, relatively small factories in America that have demonstrated what production is like, and there's very much not a lot of creative work on the part of the people who are just cranking through the same things over and over and over again.
So Neil, McNeese, that's a good question. At this point, he really is making huge numbers of knives. I would think that he's much closer to mostly small batch production knives.
I'm totally in agreement with him.
Okay. Now, he does make a few one-offs here and there.
Very few.
But
arguably, Koenig does as well in that low quantity.
So, this is an argument that's been had for years. And I think there was, who was it that originally developed?
I think it was
the
Ken
Mac?
Onion.
Ken Onion, I think. Yeah.
And he defined not the word Mac. Mac, I think Jim came up with, Jim Vanderbilt. But the word mid-tech, which is interchangeable. So many of these terms are fucking garbage because they are not well defined. The word mid-tech originally came into being because initially people would complain that blanks were cut out by water jet, that reduced how custom a knife was. The entire rest of the knife was finished by hand, but having the blanks cut out by water jet meant that it was mid-tech, that it was partway to production. So
yeah, so my feeling is I'm going to spend my money. Let's say I have all the money in the world and I want to buy a custom knife. I more than likely want to get one that's completely handmade. And actually, at this point, I really want to get one that I'm involved in the design and the look and what it's going to end up being. Okay, to a point. With Access, you can do that. But sometimes you could just say to them, I like these colors if they're making you a book spot, or I like this action, or I want these materials, or I kind of want it to be lefty, or what it is that you want out of it to make it for you.
And when you're making customs on a CNC, customs, to me, a CNC is a tool. What makes it substantially distinct from a Mac is the amount of individualization and specificity that you're going to person by person. If you look at Nick Marshall, Maverick Concept stuff, he's making a couple of things by batch, and then there's a number of things where he's designing in the CNC a pattern that is only used for one knife. And that one knife, to me, takes as much work, as much skill, and as much specificity, and as much time and more money of his investment than a full handmade knife. Ultimately, the other bottom line is that a lot of the CNC customs end up just being better knives, better action. The CNC, being an extension of your body, works the same way as robotic surgery, where it just increases the amount of fineness, the precision that you can achieve.
So, but is the precision the only thing you're looking at when it's talking about a custom? Because if I really want a precision, many of the productions are better than all of these.
I would argue that there's a lot of CNC customs that no productions beat.
Okay.
However, I would also say I already addressed that in regards to mentioning Maverick.
Correct. Dom, I totally agree with you. There is more respect given to the custom knives that are being done by hand. And with all due respect, because it is an art, it is a skill, it is using your hands and not having a computer do all the calculations and do everything.
You say that as if digital artists aren't creating real art. Now, personally, I think AI artists aren't creating real art by creating prompts, but digital artists who are making pictures online and parameterizing with, again, greater precision than a human hand can achieve, that's art. That's real creativity.
So cat scratch. Yes, Craig Brown and Cody Utzler would really fall into more like the CNC custom.
I would totally disagree. They're making batches of 10.
So you think they're more like a
Mac?
Mac?
Absolutely. I think that they are a mid-tech, a Mac, small batch production. Now, we have Utzlers. We have a one-off Utzler. We have a true custom Utzler, and it predates his CNC. He has made CNC customs, but 95% of Utzler's knives are Macs or small batch productions. And Craig Brown, his are often one at a time. Each of the knives has a different finish sometimes. But I would say 85+% of his knives are one of the 4 milling patterns that he chooses for each model, give or take.
Thank you, Neil.
And hey, right back at you, Neil. You're great people. Are one of the 4 milling patterns that he chooses for each model, and 2 blade finishes, etc. Where you're choosing that little customization, that makes it Mac or small batch production. When he's doing one-off things like we have a Brown here these are perfect examples here. So we've got mini FSD here, and this mini FSD is here. We've got a Cortex and a mini FSD. So this Cortex, there were only 4 Cortexes in Damasteel and Zirconium ever made. And this is the only one with this milling pattern and this type of Damasteel, etc. There is no other one like this. To me, this is a full custom. This is milling pattern number 4 of FSD. Yes, it's numbered, but it's small batch production, if not Mac. Because he pumped out 30 knives where he just specified which of the milling patterns based on the order that look just like this one.
Crazy Roach. I agree. I don't think that this is going to become a general consensus. I am just trying, this discussion is more like, in my opinion, it's what is out there and where do you think people fall within these levels of customization. And for you as a consumer / collector / ogler / dreamer, what is it that you want to collect? Are you searching for something that's made just for you? Are you searching for art? Are you searching for the best physical action? Or are you just searching for something that cuts?
So cat scratch, if 2 people collaborate on a knife, you've got a Jeremy Marsh and Brian Efros Nova, their newest model that they've been doing beautiful work, sending it to one another. That's no longer custom because 2 men are working on it? I know that's 2 people's not a custom.
Is that like the 2 people, 2 rights don't make a wrong?
Yeah, as soon as I walk into the room with the maker, it's suddenly a production.
Anytime Hayden's involved, it's a production, trust me.
Are you serious about that, cat scratch? I find that a little difficult to understand.
Oh,
the
he's
logic
saying it to collab. That doesn't mean it's a mid-tech. A mid-tech, if two people work on it by hand, so there's a custom that's working right now where that I know of, that
Robert
O'Brien made
the scales and blanked out the blade, and then Jen did the final polishing, etch, and then blued the blade. And the blade is beautiful. And both of them did substantial individual handwork on it and brought their individual artistic talent to it. I would find it very difficult to understand someone arguing that it's not entirely a custom.
And yes, if I help, it probably hinders the process.
Do you want to swap the camera back, or
yeah,
show
sure.
them some more knives?
No, sure.
That's a pretty convoluted.
Are you saying that Craig has never worked with anybody? He doesn't have an assistant in his place? Because I know a lot of these people have an assistant there too.
I know Cody's got some little kids. If the little kids are
in the
putzing
room
around in the shop, it's not a custom anymore.
If he helps them sand something, if they,
Oh, I had no idea Herman was a one-man show, but it's CNC, it's hand finished.
So Herman Knives is a one-man show, or is it that he just hires people named Herman? No. I don't know. Yes,
Scratch, you'll have to forgive me. I suspect your opinion is not one shared by the majority of the community. I think that
no, I don't agree with Dale.
With that,
yeah.
No,
I think it's the other way around.
I think Dale is asking Cat Scratch.
Yeah.
I
think if I actually talk to a maker and say I want this, and it's my design with the maker's knife or my, artistic desires for his design, that makes it more unique and more custom than if he put out 3 of the same knives.
I totally agree.
And that's the only thing I can say about Cody Utzler, because yeah, he does custom work, but there are 25 or 30 dragon skin ducklings out there that are all the same milling pattern, that are all the same. You will not get another one of these. There will never be another one of these. Okay. They won't be able to make the same blade again. They won't be able to make the same handles again because it's completely.
Yeah, but whoa.
Different.
The one-offness to me is based on effort, not about their ability to replicate it, but about their choice to make each one individual. Hand makers are less precise, and so even if they make 2 with the exact same material and the exact same pattern, it's not going to be precisely the same in the way that a CNC maker can get it down to a very, very fine degree of precision, but they choose not to. They choose to design new things, to program new things, to put new work in individually for each knife. To me, that's as much individuality and specificity. Even if Craig Brown could run up his CNC and do another one exactly like this, he won't. He's done producing the original Cortex, and he only made one in this configuration.
So I'm glad
we're both engineers
as well. But I will say that look, we love both Cody Utzler and Craig Brown. We have an entire family of Browns, and we have an entire family. We have an entire family of Utzlers. Although our Utzler family is getting smaller.
Yeah. It's just Cody isn't really making knives that are
to our desire. So
right this moment.
This is our Craig Brown family.
Yeah. We love
Dan.
Craig's work. However, we are not particularly invested. The models that we would like to add potentially are
actually Jason, I'm not saying that there's a difference in quality or art. I'm just saying
there's a difference
in
customness,
right, and the amount of uniqueness to the knife. And does it change the amount of customness of the knife? Does it make it more valuable / interesting when when it's just yours and nobody else's?
So to me, stuff like these two of Craig Brown's are full customs because he only made one in each of these configurations. These three are Macs because they are substantially hand finished, but are also incredibly similar and made in a batch with other knives that look exactly like them.
Thank you, Dan. Got your message. So these are all beautiful, and we love Craig Brown.
Yeah, we're a huge fan.
These two, there were a lot of them made.
Exactly like those two.
A lot, exactly like those two. These two, that's it. And this one is a very old one of his.
So I think there are a couple that look sort of similar to the Exponent, but to our Exponent. But even so, what makes these two more custom is that they are unique, that they were done using materials that he did not otherwise use, or patterns that he did not otherwise use, or colors that he did not otherwise use. Not a lot of people have these bright neon blue liners and canvas or burlap micarta. Burlap micarta, I think. Yeah, burlap.
And a beautiful clip, too.
And a beautiful clip, too.
Hello there, Patty. So, everyone's going to argue and everybody's going to have their opinion. And it's just interesting to see and hear what the community at large has to say about it in our small YouTube community. And I know, like, when I'm going out to look at knives, if I had the choice of spending the same money on two knives, let's say two knives that are similar in cost, okay, to this.
That's sort of similar in cost.
This one?
Yeah.
Or this one. So let's say these two.
No,
you think this one? This would be much more than that.
You think? Okay.
Yeah. So between these two knives, if you had the choice and they're the same price, which one would you get?
So when
they're both custom, they're both great. They both work great. They both have good action. They're both from reliable people.
I agree on all counts with that. However, frankly, the action on the Hypercut is better. He is a more precise maker by virtue of using the CNC. Now, I think I agree with the Peanut Gallery. To me, the configuration on the Perlo is more in my style. It has 3 deployments, and so I would end up with the Perlo purely because it's more my style. But when you're talking about the value proposition, I think it's hard to argue that the Perlo is a better knife.
You mean that you think this is a better physical?
Well, I think knife. That the action is better. Definitely, it doesn't have the lock.
But they both have very similar.
It's much more precise in its manufacture.
Quality materials. They both have very similar. I'm not going to say similar finishes, but they both have a similar material basis and similar quality of finish. But there's a lot more.
Sorry.
Like, why don't you just ask me? I don't think it doesn't work better. I think that's as good as we get.
It's just a little washed out.
Yeah.
And the glare, I don't like. Sorry about that, guys.
So, agreed, Cat Scratch. Value is not an object, and it's more like, what is it that you're looking for at this level? Most people are not using these levels of knives to have in their pocket when they're working. At least, I don't think they are. Am I not on full screen? It's interesting how I have a different look there, or is that just not showing the whole screen?
It's not just showing the whole screen.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
there you go.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't want to. I wanted to make sure. Just the pinky toe. So, and let's see. How about the Utzler family? We have both a CNC and a
You're right. We do. We have both CNC and a full custom of a Utzler. So, this is a mini equalizer. It is fully handmade. It's before Cody got a CNC. So I am quite certain this is entirely a full handmade custom. This is a fuck. He made a couple of them, and they were made in a batch, as was the neutralizer. So to me, these are both Macs, and this one's a full custom. We don't have a CNC custom of his, although I would love to get my hands on one. No, he made like 15, 20 in that configuration.
Mm-hmm. So.
Oh. Disputably, the action on our two CNC'd non-custom Utzlers is better than the action on our custom one. But the custom one is more unique, more interesting, and it tells a story about the history of the maker. So in terms of our Utzler collection, I'm not inclined to get rid of the custom one, even if it's objectively a worse action. It's an equally... Hey, Milton.
Hey, Milton. Hey, Tommy. Wow.
Got the whole crew.
Yeah. The usual suspects.
Truly.
Anyway, so, what's your opinions on this? Like, it's interesting to see. I know what cat scratches is.
Yeah, whoa, no cat scratches.
So,
I'm largely with cat scratch on that.
So I'll give you an example but we don't have a knife to show you with it. So we love Sparrow knives. We love Greg. We love his style. We love, everything about his knives and what he does. But we only have handmade customs of his.
Yeah.
And we have one production Riot made. Okay.
Yeah.
He does do now. He totally converted to CNC customs.
CNC customs, and he makes them one at a time.
Makes them one at a time, and and they're phenomenal.
So it's a higher quality. We just haven't higher precision.
Had the opportunity to win one.
Yeah,
because you can't actually just buy him. You have to win him a lotto for him.
Well, there are some first come, first serve occasionally, but since we've been working shows, we have not been buying any first come, first serve.
Kevin, you're talking about the Strix production that's coming? They should be here by the end of the month. Or are you talking about, did you score an actual custom Strix?
This is Tribble.
So, yeah, I mean, I know that Kenman has been waiting anxiously, probably checking his mailbox every single day for his lefty Strix.
I wonder. I don't know if I've ever seen an image or a video of a custom lefty Strix. I wonder if he's made any.
I don't know. We can ask him.
Yeah, she is a pretty cat.
Yeah. So happy that everybody's on. I hope you guys are enjoying this, because to us, this is a very controversial. We argue about this all the time. Specifically when I'm like, are we really going to spend that kind of money on a knife that's he's making 5 or 6 of them? And to me, I get snagged on that because at this price point, am I really buying it as a knife, or am I buying it as artistic uniqueness? I guess there's a lot of hype involved in the community with certain things, of having certain things that you wouldn't necessarily otherwise buy if there wasn't hype. I don't know. What do you guys all think about that? Like, okay, up to $500, yeah, it's all about the knife. Up to $1,000, it's all about the knife. But once you start to get to, okay, at $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $20,000, we do not have any $20,000 knives, but they exist, and there are a lot of them. So. So no more commentary from the crowd.
Peanut gallery.
Yeah. I mean, we can go over to other topics, but I think that you like this one more. Okay, what else do you want to talk about?
Koenig.
Oh yeah,
Koenig, Oz, CRK.
Today. Okay, what did we carry today? Well, I actually, in my pocket most of the day, I had Sever 7's prototype because I was showing it to a few people today.
My carry's in the other room, and
oh no! What happened?
Naughty camera.
Naughty camera.
Camera had a little bit of a conniption.
A little seizure. Who did that? This is not a mid-tech. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is not a mid-tech.
Exactly, Patty. I agree. I think that once you start to get into the higher numbers, you are getting it for art. Or for collectors, like for resale, for the bragging rights of having a piece, things like that. You're not really, I mean, I do know someone who carries a $25,000 knife
as their daily
carry to do plumbing work. And it scares the shit out of me, but that's what he does. What's our most expensive knife?
People always ask us that, and it's complicated because expensive in terms of how much we spent on it in cash, how much we spent on it in terms of the cash out value of the knives that we traded into it, how much we could sell it for today quickly, or how much we could sell it for if we were willing to wait.
So what do you think? It's a Raymond?
Could be the Raymond, could be the Mosier, could be the CMF auction piece, could be the Swordfish, could be the the TJ Fisher. How much cash did we spend out of our pocket?
So the most expensive,
not even close to our most expensive knife in terms of what we could sell it for.
Right, and the most expensive knife I think was $3,700.
37, yeah.
Was the most expensive that we actually put money out in the two-way maker for a knife that was made for us.
And that was the most expensive by over $1,000. We are nowhere near that on any other knife. And there was a pretty good reason for spending that much on that particular one. Oh, bye, Tribble. Okay, I will run into the other room to
get it,
to get my my own daily carry because I didn't.
Okay, so this is a GTC that we had him make after 2 years of kind of pushing him to make it, and it is amazing. It has a SLT, so it's got the little flipper there. It's got a front flipper, a stud, which he had never done before. We pushed him to finally do it. And
his own forged Damascus.
Hold on.
In LMAX.
Yes, you did, Milton.
Screwless and toolless disassembly. And it won the most innovative custom knife this past year at Blade Show Atlanta. I did do that.
That's right, Tommy. We trust you.
I absolutely did do that.
And Milton, the Severs knife, it's his design.
Yes, it is the one from Blade this year.
But it is a Kituo knife that's Severs design for Kituo. They are the OEM.
So this Lee Williams and Dan Coert Kickstop Pershing was what I was carrying today. In I think it's Chad Nichols Damascus. And some Zerk accents. It was an auction from CCKS a couple years ago, I think. I have no idea what it went for. None at all. I love that piece.
Milton, that's his one of his favorite top 5 pieces in the collection. Pieces,
even though it doesn't even have my favorite deployment method, a front flipper, because I'm very invested in the funky opening methods. So the GTC, his base model, a totally plain Jane version of this without any of the funky shit going on, is $3,000. Then for his hand-forged Damascus that he makes himself out of LMAX, it's $500 extra. And then he charged us $100 for all of the milling work and inlays, and $100 for designing and developing the screwless, toolless thumb lug thing, bringing us to $3,700. Now, to me, the $3,000 is a lot of money for a CNC knife, but the amount of energy that it takes to design and create a screwless and toolless knife like this with all of these mechanisms is what justifies it. And then $700 of an upcharge, to me, entirely justifies the Damascus,
the extra stuff
hand makes, and the innovation of the thumb look.
And Tommy, if you were ever to get this knife to review, this is not one you're allowed to disassemble, because it is a crazy assembly disassembly.
Oh, it's fun. I might do it on video sometime.
It's weird and it's complex, and it scared the shit out of me when Hayden did it the first time at Blade Show. And we're like sitting there looking for a spring.
I didn't lose anything.
I know. You'd also be looking for a spring. So those were our daily carries. So, we got to see some cool things today.
Cash out. What's the most we'd spend on a handmade knife? The number has been creeping up. See, the thing is, we are very disciplined in terms of the amount of money that we're spending from outside of the hobby. All of our most expensive knives have come from trading, because our agreement is that 95% of the money that goes into any new knife purchases has to come from existing knives. That only 5% to maybe 10%, if it's a real special piece, can come from new money that we're putting into it. Otherwise, we have to constantly be selling or trading. So the amount of money that we've been able to justify consolidating into a single knife has gone up as we've come to understand the market better at the higher levels, and been, getting to understand the liquidity of different models and different makers and such. So we have a number of knives that exceed $5,000 in worth. Hit the overhead view. This is a Tysmead swordfish, Michael Raymond Estrella, and a CMF and JVO collaboration, Una Med, that there were only 2 made of. These are all in excess of $5,000 in terms of what they're worth, and we would go somewhat higher because there are auction pieces that we would try to trade into, or things that go for an obscene amount of money that we could recoup if we put that money into it. Mainly at this level, it's about getting something that is artistically or technically innovative, and something that we can recoup our investment into, if we are spending the value to acquire something in this vein. So we have considerably less than the $8,000 that this initially auctioned for. This was originally sold for $1,500 in 2012, and now the Raymonds are regularly going, even from this era, for upwards of $5,000, $6,000. And then these start at $4,000 for just the base model. I'm not sure exactly what his justification is for his price, but people are willing to pay, and thus we were able to trade into this, and we'll be able to move it at those values if we so choose. And the knife is incredibly fine, incredibly precise. I don't know if he uses a CNC. I would be shocked to learn that he wasn't using a CNC, just because of how incredibly precise it is.
Don, you're right. I mean, the materials that are used on that Meads, that's mother of pearl and something called NTPT, which is
Carbo quartz.
A very, very
expensive material.
North
thin ply technology. So it's individual molecular layers of carbon and quartz that are that material was developed by this company and licensed exclusively by the watchmaker Richard Mille, and all of the United States availability of it that we have was either small in the brief window before it was wholly licensed. So nowadays, a 5-inch by 3-inch square of carbo quartz goes for $5,000 on its own, without even being on a knife. Yeah. So that also explains the price, given that just this amount of blank material would be over $2,000 in and of itself, and we have less than $1,000 more than the base price of a plain Jane version of this knife into it in trade. So.
This is a Utzler neutralizer. And as far as action, they're all good. They're all good. You know, it's rare not to find a good knife. Are they any that are substantially better than others? Yeah.
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 Definitely. Of course, we disagree on what to keep and what to trade off. We have pretty substantially different taste, actually. And we have to, one of the other things that limits our spending is having to come to a consensus on things.
Yeah, so we normally have 2 cases. So if you can see our little setup here.
Here, let's see. Is it tracking my head?
No, it's right now not tracking. There we go. So we have 2 cases.
The orange case are things that we both agree it's time to move. Locally.
Or that we're able to move.
Yeah.
The green case is the one that is
keepers by consensus.
Keepers by consensus.
And things flex between them as we ebb and flow in our fondness for particular knives. But we in our own list of where the knives go in each case have them marked with a different color within the case. Orange ones where I'm still kind of liking this, but
if we get an offer,
that we can't refuse, fine, you can move it. And green ones where we're not loving it as much anymore. If someone expresses interest, we can move it. And yeah, Mopati, when you're talking about those sorts of exclusive materials, it balloons very quickly beyond what you can justify based on just the precision or artistic value of the knife. You're talking then about scarcity economics, which is not my favorite way to do things. In terms of just the materials, I want things to be unique by design, by the relationship that we have with the makers, by unique things that they do for us. Not just that we found one piece of something that was very hard to come up with. Although we do have a number of knives that are like that, and that's largely because I'm a big fan of purple, and purple materials are awful to find.
I'm jealous. I want that cornbread.
Where's the cornbread?
Well, you never know if you're going to own it. You don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, we very much started out with productions. It went little by little by little by little.
Yeah. And now he doesn't really care so much about the productions. I still like to really see the nuances of the production of the new ones. I also think that the productions keeps me in the YouTube game a little bit, because I really like this community, and I like to see new and fancy things, and I like to see new and funky things. And then once I play with them for a few weeks, I'll send them out so other people can see them. And it's just, the community is great. And we have traveled a lot this year, because I've pretty much not been working for a big part of the year. And we did a lot of traveling, and we met a lot of people who are collectors and makers, and just had a great time. Today we actually did too. So we went this morning to Ray. We hung out with Ray for an hour. We showed him some poi kilos that we have that we're going to now be sending around to be seen. Mm-hmm. We exchanged knives. He had some of my customs that he gave back to me. I gave him another little set of customs to review for the next batch. He showed us some of the knives that he got that I was interested in just futzing with and playing with for a few minutes and seeing what they felt like. And then we went to a diner and met up with a very nice, good friend who's a collector in New York. And he showed us a bunch of knives that he had. He brought a little stack of knives for us to play with. And he had the new Koenig. What was that called?
The Xenon.
The Xenon. Very cool. Not my style, but still very cool. That's right, Dong. I want to handle one of yours. But are you going to make me one that has a front flipper and a rear flipper and some kind of like blade thing? And not that little teeny one. I need one to at least be like, a 3-inch blade. Anyway, so and he had the Xenon, beautifully done. He had the new Lamia. Not only the new Lamia, but he had the new SPK. That's not the Lamia. I forgot the name of that one.
Hadouken.
The Hadouken. So that was kind of cool to see.
That's a dangerous offer, Dom. We've got a lot of shit going on in our heads.
I got to get a few pictures of what you currently make, so it has to be within your style also.
Exactly. We don't want to take away from your artistic integrity as a maker. And this is something that we come back to with a lot of makers. Many makers, if they're doing book spots, want to know where the customer stands on whether the customer wants to specify every little detail of the build, or whether or not the customer just wants to give the maker their tastes, their preferences, and have the maker, utilize their artistic expression in order to spread their wings and make something cool.
So with that, in mind. We have a build coming with Donnie with less knives.
Yeah.
Laser ghost knives, right? And what we did with him is we basically took little snapshots of like features of his knives that we liked and features of things that we didn't like. And we said, okay,
we want something like this, this, and this.
We like this. We don't like this.
This, and this.
We have size preference. We told him. We will have deployment preferences. We told him. And we had a little discussion with him, and he's like, okay, I got it. Yes, no, I can work on this. No, this is a no-go. And then he's like, how involved do you want to be at this point? And we, at this point, said, go nuts, do your thing. Kind of what we're after, what we want, and we just want to see you, shine. Which I'm sure he'll deliver because his stuff is awesome. And if you can get on his books because
you'll find yourself quite lucky.
One of the things that we've been fortunate about is that we've gotten
a number of book
spots early in people's careers when they weren't so hot, and we're able to get things when they weren't so expensive. And now we have some knives from makers that now they sell their knives for double or triple what we bought ours for because they're just that popular. They've advanced. They use better materials, things like that. Do we update? Yeah, sometimes we update. Sometimes we just enjoy the fact that we had the original ones.
I don't remember who, but someone was asking about whether or not we've had warranty issues and how makers have handled them.
Okay.
For the most part, in this high level of customs, makers are great about it.
We're gonna actually tell you something about a knife. I'm not going to say who the maker is. We bought a knife. He's going to get salty because I'm saying this, which he immediately traded to someone who had the same maker's knife at an earlier rendition in a purple that he loves.
The price.
Okay, so now we bought a brand new knife and ended up with an older knife, but a beautiful knife, same exact knife but older version. After having
2 years older,
after having it for a few months, we noticed that there was a significant issue with it. So we contacted the maker and we said, look, we have this knife. We know it's a little older. He remembered because we did it actually at his table at the show.
Yeah, we did the swap right in front of him.
Right.
He was very amused.
Actually. So in any case, we told him what the issue was. He said, send the knife in, let me check it out. So we send in the knife and he calls us back, or we do a vid call with him a few days later. And he says, okay, I know what the problem is. This is what the problem is. He explains what's the issue. And he goes, look, I can fix it, but it's actually probably easier for me to just make you a whole new knife. Not charging us for a new knife, just making us a brand new knife, brand new materials, brand new everything on him. Okay? That's the difference between production and custom. He has respect for his own product. He's taking care of his own product. He wants to make sure it's perfect. The issue with the knife was not a user error.
Yeah.
It's not like I smacked the knife and screwed it up.
And it wasn't even so much that he had made a meaningful mistake on it. It's that he had used tactics to make it as good as possible that he knew at the time. And in the course of 2 years, he's improved substantially. He's gotten a lot finer, a lot more refined, and he stands by his work, much in the same way we were discussing when we went to Zach Perlow, and we were showing him his own old knives. He was embarrassed by the quality of the earlier knives, and he's like, "Let me take this back from you."
I don't think we said that.
Update it to.
That was in one of our conversations earlier today.
Well, he took back while we were working on our book spots with him.
Yeah, he basically took a knife and
updated
it to the current standard
of quality.
So, but in any case, so not only is he making us a new knife, but Hayden wanted that special material that he traded down in an older model for. So we figured out a way to actually extract the material from the older knife and put it on the new knife. And he's basically making us a whole new model so that he could do that for us. And if it was a CNC maker, he probably could not do that because it would be a full redesign.
Know about
it would have been a full redesign
I
on the computer.
don't know about that. I think that's a big logical leap to say that a CNC maker would not do that for us necessarily. We've had CNC makers already do significant computer redesign work on our behalf.
But that's not a new model. That was just to do design work.
True.
Okay. Anyway, so that's two experiences in the custom world where customer service is just, stupendous, like amazing,
fantastic.
We
what
have
for the relationship, the artistry.
Brasher, we have not a single fixed blade,
and I'm not particularly interested in acquiring any. I am a fidgeter first, and an engineer second, and an artistic appreciator third, and in it for to make sure that the collection is relatively financially solvent, and we're not just throwing good money after bad.
Right.
Put
it like this: we just finished making. Well, finished. We're in the process of making a knife with a knife maker, and one of the things that he was saying, well, with all the scraps that I have here,
he likes to make little fixies.
He likes to make these 3.5-inch fixies.
3.5
overall inch. So the blade is like 1.5 inches, not even. And they're beautiful. They're great. But we told them more than likely it would never, ever be taken out. And it's not like he's giving you the knife. It's another $300-400, even though it's the same materials and it's our materials. It's the work to make it. So yes, exactly. Same idea, Dom. Same idea. He basically was using the scraps of the Damascus to make the blade, and that's great. Like it's wonderful if you're into it, but I'm not into it. So I told him no. Let's see if in a year or so I'm kicking myself in the butt for that answer, but that's what I did.
I suspect that we won't regret it all that much.
Me too.
Perhaps from a financial
perspective. Aries has been, is so good also, and he might be one of the first people that I actually go to his house and knock on his door and say, "Hey, you want to make a knife today?"
Aries?
Aries EDC. He's in Orlando because we're down there all the time. So I'm like, yeah, maybe we can, so.
Just ambush him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if we were ever do it, it would be one of those that we're doing it with him. Like we're sitting there and grinding it, and it's not so much the knife that I'm making, the fact that I'm helping with making it, not just the fact that it's a fixed blade. So anyway, any other questions about our actual topic today? Our topic was custom, CNC custom, Mac custom.
I feel like we've missed one or two.
Have we? I don't think it's, scrolling. Yeah. Kevin, who are you in the books for? Catch, I'm sure you would actually love that Hadouken. That's a very precise, very wonderfully made knife.
Nice.
Donnie.
Have it on the second screen, so we can just keep scrolling up. If
okay, so you're seeing the new ones. Got it.
The new ones here. Yeah.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Good plan, right?
Yeah. Utilitarian.
Yeah.
So precise. Let's see. QC issues. I would say that QC issues happen statistically more on custom knives, but for the most part, custom makers are so good about fixing things up. When it's your own fault, when you're scuffing things and messing things up, oftentimes they will ask you to pay a fee for a spa or something. But most of the time they'll take it themselves before asking you to pay any money to see, oh, is this something that I fucked up on, or is this something that you fucked up on?
Cat Scratch, Lamia is not a brand. Lamia is a knife. It's SPK is the brand. So Hadouken is the next knife of that brand. It's a completely different design.
Yeah, social media is definitely the easiest way, other than direct word of mouth. I don't know. We've been introduced to most of the new makers through various forms of social media. I don't know. What do you think? That's a great question.
Cat Scratch, we just played with both Rex 121s. One of the people we met with today is basically has all of the Rex 121 PM2s.
Yeah.
And the DLC one that's coming out soon is going to be cool. Rex 121 and DLC sounds crazy.
Excessive.
Yeah. Well, it's the DLC protects about something else. Okay. I thought you said that is it a Lamia? It's not a Lamia, so okay.
But it's by the same guy, yes.
Is it? Yeah, I mean, Spyderco is known for having lock stick issues. So.
And we definitely had some on the knives that we played with earlier.
Yeah. So I think that'll break in over time, though. We're not huge Spyderco fans, actually. We only have 2 Spydercos, and both of them are rare. I mean, one of them is we chopped, and the other one, the only thing that's left at Spyderco is the pivot, and the I guess the liner, pivot and the liner. Everything else is modded away from it. So, we hear a lot on the live streams and about the new makers, and there are a few makers who are active in the community, like Dom and like Mallory and like Donnie, and there's a few out there. Mallory is more known for the knives that he designs, but he actually
his own
does custom work, from what I understand. Also, I don't have a custom Mallory, but
I don't know that I've ever handled a custom
Mallory. I've heard that he does a lot of custom stuff. I don't know if it's a full custom knife or if it's just mods, but I think he's somebody to look to in the future, to actually doing and making knives. I think he's there.
He's got an excellent eye for design. He's designed a number of really well performing financially and beautiful knives.
So Kevin, this knife is called the Usurper.
We are not we're not at a ton of shows regularly, only because we are relatively new to the community. We've only been in the game for 3 years, but I would say, yeah, we've been to quite a few shows in that time. Blade Show Texas twice, and we'll be there again
in a few weeks.
Atlanta twice, and we'll be there again.
NYCKS, we did it twice,
but we
will not be there this year because
we're going to be skiing.
Yeah. And we went to Makers. We went to Maker Syndicate, which we loved, and hopefully Oz decides to do it again
now that they're settled in their new shop.
And we went to Seaside out in Oregon for a custom knife, and that was a fantastic show. So we're so much more into the socialization aspect of the knife community. Like the YouTube community within the knife community is very social.
Oh, yeah.
And we go to meetups. We talk about it all the time, that we go to this person's house and we go to this person's house and we go out to dinner with him and we go out to lunch here. And Kevin Lefty always says, who'd you have lunch with today? He's asking me, who'd you have lunch with, or what are your plans? So And I think I said, I'm going to come over and bring lunch. And he laughed. But first I like to eat. So yes, I'm constantly eating. But we also, it's a great social thing.
You ask very nicely.
So it's not really something I do over the internet. These things are really person to person. So you have to kind of meet them and have a rapport with them a little and say, look, you ever interested in having someone come to your shop and kind of work with you on a knife, or even just a shop tour? And then what happens is a lot of them say no. And once in a while, someone will say yes. We recently had an experience where we contacted a maker and they said, that's not really something I do. Thank you very much, but I can't do it. And then the maker actually contacted me like 2 weeks later and said, I spoke to a buddy of mine, another maker who worked with you before, and he says you guys are really cool and great and to work with, and he said I should give it a shot. So if you guys are interested, why don't you come over? And so
that's on the docket.
So that will happen soon too. And we probably have 4 set up for 2026.
Shop visits or builds in shop?
I think builds.
Shop visits.
Yeah,
builds in shop.
Builds. Yeah. I think we have 4 builds.
And that includes the 2 at...
No. I think 4 individual.
4 individual?
I think so.
Okay.
And a lot of times, and then there's money involved with that.
Yes.
Okay, because what is it like, Mopati? Like, if the maker can make 5 knives in the week that you're there, but because you're there, he can only make 1. Are you paying him for 5 knives for his 4 lost financial aspects, or are you just paying him for 1? So there has to be some kind of, so they don't actually charge for it. So I will give you one example. One of the guys we went to, I specifically asked him, if we were not here, how many knives would you have made this week? And I said, you have to walk away with as much money at the end of the week as you would have had we not been here.
And obviously it doesn't need to be exact. It's not life or death that we pay them precisely how much they would have otherwise made, but you need to make sure that
their whole a lot of these knife makers
cover their nut
are not making a lot of money. I mean, it sounds crazy when you say that they're charging you $1,000 for a knife, but if they work the entire week on that one knife, and that's their entire income for the entire week, and mind you, they have to take all their expenses out of that, it's not a lot of money. And for me to have them work on my knife for 1 week, if it's only the 1 or 2 knives, versus if they were able to work on their own and not have me asking questions and all that.
Occasionally, you'll be able to do something like offer to help them with grunt work, blanking out other knives or prepping stuff, making their life a little bit easier. But most of the time, we're taking away from their efficiency. We're not adding to it, even if we're there trying to help. We source a lot of our own materials, actually.
We a lot of times bring billets of Damascus, and we've done crystal tie before it became popular, crystal zirc. We have all types of funky materials. Actually, there is bartering also, because one of the makers like some of our materials and said, can I buy this off of you?
Yeah, we've actually sold and traded to a couple of makers, partly in exchange for even getting book spots.
Very few of these people are making a ton of money. They are enjoying life and making enough to live. There are very few that are living in the laps of luxury in this career, unless they've sold their souls to the production companies.
Kevin, you will see us in Texas. Yeah. So we're not big into actually mother of pearl and Ifion mammoth.
I mean, we have knives that have it, but it's not like something we seek to put on our current builds.
We don't have a lot of semi-precious stones either, although I would love to get some more. It's not super popular in the community because they're not the easiest things to work with. See, I'm not trying to make these builds so much more difficult for the makers. I like sophistication in uniqueness in design and style and some of the intentional choices that they make. But I like turquoise. Recently, this guy out of I don't remember if it's Indonesia or the Philippines, Ballet Blades, made a chef's knife with labradorite scales, and I think it looks fucking phenomenal. I would love to get some of that on a folder, and I happen to know where to find a little. So
on your mother's desk. What?
No. Where do we source our material?
So shows a lot. You know,
a lot
of the shows have materials, and actually, like if you go to Atlanta if you go to Atlanta and you see that there are 950 tables, at least 250 of those are supplies, and a lot of the knife makers. So we've done a bunch of builds that we pick up at the Blade Show, and they want cash because
they're going out.
They're going to buy materials at other tables, and a lot of them are from out of the country. We buy a lot of knives when we're in Atlanta from makers that are not in the U.S. And for them, they don't have to worry about the conversion rates and all that stuff. Also, if they have cash from us, but we have bought stuff at like the smaller. We bought a lot of stuff at the smaller blade shows, like Lehigh Valley, and people bring materials. They make materials and see it there. Actually, we love exotic woods. We have 2 or 3 knives with woods, but they're rare.
We have a bunch of wood, but we've not actually put it on any of our custom. That's not fucking true. I just did it. O'Brien.
Put wood on that?
I put wood on it. On mine. Over the Damascus.
Wood. Okay.
It's wood.
I didn't realize
I got some wood as a gift from a knife maker, actually. We were doing a little bit of horse trading and discussing the cost of our build, etc. And he was throwing us a bunch of scale materials. We ended up taking a whole box of scale materials from him that he's just like, I have so much material that I'm not using. If you're going out and making funky builds, use this.
So what's interesting when you are working with a knife maker also is every single piece of scrap they keep, because they use little teeny pieces of the scraps as accents on a lot of the other things. So it's very interesting how like this little teeny piece of something could make the difference in the way a knife pops out at you. It's very cool. Very cool indeed. So I think we're getting towards the end of this. I think I'm getting a little tired. What do you guys think? Should we start to end it or call it, or I don't know. Haven't had any big questions lately.
Yeah, a while.
The chat's kind of dying down. Anyway, we appreciate everybody coming and hanging with us for a little while.
Yeah.
And I hope you liked our argument.
I'm sure we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, we'll do it again. We'll try to find another topic. We might delve into this topic once or twice again, because
we do.
It keeps on evolving. Yeah. The topic keeps on evolving, and it'll probably evolve even more. Thank you, guys. Okay. All right. You all have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you soon.
Take care.